Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Orion, a veterinarian and a veterinary behavior residency graduate. What kind of construction dogs like? The answer is at the end of this video, but before that, food is a great motivator in dogs. It's such a great motivator that we usually use it as a part of training the dog to do things or to prevent him from doing other things. That's great until it's not. Let me tell you why dogs beg us for food whenever they see us eating. I will also tell you if you should allow them to do it behavior-wise or medical-wise. And then I'm going to talk about what you can do in order to prevent it. So why do they do it? Well, because they really like the taste, probably, right? I mean, what we eat usually tastes very good. But that doesn't mean that their own food doesn't taste good as well. Their food is also great tasting and usually they like it very much. Now don't forget that in the end, dogs also eat poop and their own vomit, so it's not like they have a very sensitive taste buds or something like that. So other than the taste of the food, another reason for them to be wanting to eat our own food is the fact that it's something that they usually don't eat. Also, they get the attention from us. And maybe also the texture itself is something that's very appealing to them. But you shouldn't actually feed them your own food, not even table scraps, especially not when you're eating. Not when you're eating because, of course, if you do that, it's more likely that they will keep begging for food, drooling next to the table. It's not something that will help your appetite or will help you enjoy your own meal. Many of the commercial diets, like the kibble or the canned food for dogs, are sufficient. They like the taste, it has all of the nutrients, it's very safe for them because most companies have a lot of quality assurance and quality control, which, some things that you can't do in your house. If you're not sure if the brand that you're using is a good one, then try to see if they say that they make the food according to the AAFCO recommendations, AAFCO. Of course, you can also do some home cooking if you want to and you have the time, but you should use specific services that employ a veterinary nutritionist that can actually make a balanced diet. Just feeding the dog with meat and vegetables will cause the dog to be deficient of some nutrients. A big problem with feeding your dog your own food is that sometimes it's actually not safe. It might contain ingredients that are very poisonous to dogs but not to people. And the thing is that we don't always think about those things. So, for example, they might have some fried onion in them, and that might be dangerous to the dog. And no, there's not a lot of it inside, but who knows, maybe your dog is more sensitive than other dogs, or the dog is very small, so even a small amount might actually affect him. So why take the chance? If you know exactly that the food you're eating is safe for the dog, then go ahead and use it as a treat or something like that, as a positive reinforcer, but not when you're eating yourself or when you're next to the table. How should you deal with it? The best thing is to actually prevent it from happening to begin with. So even when your dog is a puppy or when you just got the dog adopted into your house, never ever feed him with your table scraps or with anything that you're eating next to the table. Always feed him inside of the food bowl in a designated location around the house. The only time you can kind of break this rule is when you're actually working on training the dog. If the dog is already doing this behavior because you or someone else got him used to coming and begging for food because they might just get it, then first you of course need to stop doing it. Completely stop doing it. Even if you do it like once every blue moon, it will probably make it even worse. So you need to cold turkey, not feeding the dog cold turkey, but stopping cold turkey. If the dog is insisting and trying to get to you, then you need to physically separate him into a different location. You can use either a separate room, an exercise pen, a baby gate, or anything like that. The farther away the dog is from you, probably it would be better because he might not be able to smell as much or to hear as much or to see you eating. Now, all of these things fall under the category of avoiding the triggers. The food here is a trigger to the behavior, so you want to keep your dog away from the food, from this trigger, as much as you can. The more the dog is exposed to the trigger, the more likely the behavior will continue. Don't punish your dog for begging. That actually might be even too confusing for the dog because he might have been fed in the past with table scraps and all of a sudden you're not feeding him, or maybe you're yelling at him, forcing him away with shouts or even physically or anything like that. That's very bad because that's actually creating like a mixed signal. The dog still wants to get those treats from on one hand, but on the other hand, now he might be afraid of you. This confusion is very, very bad for the human-dog bond, so try to avoid it completely. But the next thing is actually a very good one. You want to do response substitution. So instead of having the dog come to you and begging you for food, you actually want to feed him maybe even at the same time. Like every time that you go to eat something, have your dog in a specific location in the house, again away from you, with his food bowl, with his actual food, or with a long-lasting treat, maybe some nice calm music, anything that the dog likes and kind of makes him very comfortable. You can use like a dog bed and a mat. You're creating a safe place for the dog. Remember, it's not punishing the dog, it's just keeping him away from you, keeping him away from the trigger while giving him something else to do, giving him that response substitution. And eventually the dog should learn that, oh, every time that they go to eat something, then I'm gonna get something to eat, but I should go over there because there is where they are actually gonna feed me. Makes sense, huh? But that's not the only thing. The thing is that if the dog has a full stomach, because he's eating right now, he might not need your food as much. As I said at the beginning, that's not the only reason that the dog wants to eat your food. They also want your attention, they also want many other things, the novelty of the new food and all of that, but it definitely helps. Now, if you want to learn more about this topic, there's a link down below in the description to one of the dog trainers that I actually do like many of her videos, and she goes into more details and in depth into how to train your dog and not to beg for food. I hope you liked the video. I mean, if you reached this point, then I guess you did like it. So please click the like. If you want, subscribe. The more people do it, the more likely is that the YouTube algorithm will show my videos to other people like you that are interested in this topic. So, what kind of construction do dogs like? Roofing! Roof. The roof is on fire. See ya!